Good morning. So today we are down here in Bryson City, North Carolina. We're actually looking at wedding venues, and today we're going to go do some hiking. Now I have no plans. We have beautiful blue skies with very limited clouds, so not the best opportunity, but we're gonna go do a waterfall hike and a mountain view hike, potentially. I'm not exactly sure. Again, we have no plans. We're just kind of winging it, and I'm going to kind of see what I can take. So it's going to be kind of landscape-esque photos, trying to find good landscapes with not the most optimum conditions and no plans at all. Now, I'm not really a good vlogger. I definitely cannot fill the extremely large shoes that Peter McKinnon has created, but we're going to wing it and see what we can find. So let's get shooting. Waterfall we're at is this one. It's kind of a smaller waterfall, but I really like the way that the water is running over the rocks and how it cascades kind of down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take 4 shots from the top to bottom, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I'm going to combine them together to make them a really nice long print. And it should look really good on metal because I'm going to do a longer exposure that will cause more of a cascading effect rather than the rigid water look. So let's go ahead and fire off a few shots and see what we can come up with. So we ended up at the destination at the very beginning. So then we walked all the way around the trail, really up the back, really the backwards way. We went really, really high, really way back, and it's a loop trail. So now we're headed back, but we already got the photos. So we're gonna head on to the next place now. But I think these photos will turn out pretty good. We'll see them in editing later in this video. We're back in the studio after that amazing trip to the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. Had some incredible hiking. We hiked all the way to the highest point in the Great Smoky Mountains, which is the Clingman's Dome. Absolutely beautiful views. A lot of the times I just enjoyed and had fun. Sometimes I just left my camera because I just wanted to kind of take it all in, and sometimes that is more important than getting the photos. And we had a good time together, and yeah. So I'm happy with that. Now we're back in the studio, and I did get quite a bit of photos. So I wanted to walk you through kind of my process. Okay, I have them in Lightroom, now what do I do? But first, before we get into that, if you could go ahead and like the video really quick, it makes a huge difference on the video. I don't actually get paid relatively much, if any, on my YouTube videos right now, so every like does count. So please go ahead and give it a like, and let's get right into Lightroom. So when I get into Lightroom, after I've imported all of these photos here, I mean this one, there's 287 photos, and you've noticed I've already have gone through quite a bit of them. But here's what I do. The first thing is I'll look at it and I'll say, okay, is this worth a photo? No, it's blurry. So I either leave it or I delete it. So I press delete on my keyboard. I'm never gonna use this photo, so I don't need to remove it from Lightroom. I don't even need the raw file, so I'm just gonna delete from the disk. This removes it completely and saves the space. Now, do not do this if you ever want to use the photo again. Once you delete it from disk, the photo is gone, and if you formatted your card, that raw file is completely gone. So if you just don't want it in Lightroom anymore, but potentially might use it later, just remove it from Lightroom. For me, I don't need a blurry photo, so I'm just gonna delete it completely, saves the space, gets it out of there. All right, so the next one, this one I'm unsure of, so I'm gonna move on to the next one. This is one of the ones we'll be working on. So this has a 1 star. So you just press 1 on your keyboard. You can do 1 to 5. So 5, 5 star, 4, 4 star, 3, 3 star, and so on. So I went here. So this is the top of the waterfall. Second half, third, almost the bottom, and then finally the bottom. Now that's the photo we're gonna be working on in a minute, but I just wanna run you through my little process of sorting. So once I've gone through this one, it's not bad. I wanted to keep it, but I wasn't sure if I was gonna do anything with it. This one here, it's okay. These little flowers here, I really wanted to do something with, but I just couldn't find the right composition to work with them, so I kind of left it alone. This was pretty, but then I ended up flipping the camera upside down, and actually this file was like this when I got it because I flipped the camera upside down on the tripod, and then to flip it in Lightroom, it's just Command or Control and the brackets, and I just flip it. Now this is really pretty. I'll probably do something with this. I 1-starred this one here. Then we got some really great pictures of some elk. I mean, look at that. Ooh, that is some really, really sharp photos.
Went through here. I love this one. He's got looks like a cowboy with his straw in his mouth. I just need a little cowboy hat on him and he'd be good to go. But I really like that photo, so I'll do something with that eventually. You scroll through all of these, and here we go. This one was really funny because he's looking right at me and that straw right on his face. This is the funniest damn photo I've ever seen. I love it. I definitely 1-starred that one. This is a combination of 26 photos. So you see this 1-star here on the right, from here all the way over to here is all merged. I merged all of these photos to create this one photo. Now it almost looks perfect. If you look here, this is no good. So the photo looks very good from here, from the foreground to the background, but all of this in the midground, it all looks like it's all blurry and disgusting. And I'm very unhappy with it because this photo would have been absolutely spectacular. So I'm still going back and forth trying to see how to fix that. Maybe I'll do all this merging and work in Photoshop and just manually put the photos together. But for now, I've taken a break from it because I was getting frustrated, and once I get frustrated, I leave it alone until I've moved on and I come back to it. So after I've gone through all of these photos and starred the ones I like, press on the 1-star, and that will filter out all the ones that we don't want. So let's go ahead and get into the edit of this waterfall photo. So the first thing I did was, there's 5 photos here that I wanted. The reason I took photos like this was because I wanted to get more detail. I was zoomed in at 65 millimeters on this photo. I could have taken it at one photo, but your clarity, your quality, the look of the image is not going to be as clear as if you zoom in. Think about how when you take a picture of an animal, let's say a bird, with a, I don't know, 40 millimeter, and it's a good ways away, the bird is going to be slightly fuzzy when you zoom in. But if you take a 200 millimeter, zoom in and you get much closer, your sharpness, your detail is much higher. So whenever I'm trying to do landscapes like this, I always try and see if I can zoom in and use a closer or a higher millimeter to get more of the detail. For example, let's go to this photo here. And if you look right here, this is extremely detailed there we go. This has a lot of detail in it. You see the wetness from the rocks, you see the individual stream, the individual pieces of the grass. You see a lot of detail in this, and that makes for a much more quality and much more detailed photo, because when you blow it up really big, it makes a big difference. Okay, good. So what I did was I select this one, select the last one, so all 5 photos. We're gonna right click on it. We're gonna go to Photo Merge and Panorama. Sometimes this works in Lightroom, sometimes you have to do it in Photoshop. Hang on, I gotta sneeze. What? Whew. Okay, good. So this looks pretty good, but you notice it's bending. So you have to play with this a little bit. So let's go to cylindrical and see which one works better. This one is better, but still has that bend, and then perspective. And I believe I used perspective. There we go. Yeah, so I used perspective when I did this image, and this looks really good. We got the straight line here. It looks tall and long. Everything looks pretty much in detail. There's no blurry. It looks like it did a very good job. I'm gonna go ahead and leave it on auto settings, auto crop, and the fill edges we don't need to do because there is no edges to fill. So let's go ahead and press merge. Go ahead and do that. I've already done all of this, so this is all kind of a duplicate, but I wanted to show you the process of start to finish on an edit of a high-end landscape photo. Now, while this loads, a couple of points to note: the ISO on this image was 100, 65mm f/16, and a 1.3 second shutter. This allows me to get the really silky, smooth water. Obviously, this was done on a tripod. It is vital to get everything else in focus. And one thing that a lot of people don't talk about when you're doing stuff like this, wind. Wind is a huge factor, because if you're doing anything over a half a second shutter and there's trees or leaves or something, you're gonna get blurry motion. So you really have to pay attention to the wind. This was a very calm day. There was no wind. So all of my leaves weren't moving. I was able to get really, really high detail because there's no movement. Any little bit of wind and that 1/2 second to 2 second shutter, those leaves are gonna be blurry and you're gonna have ghosting, which is no good when you're trying to do really nice photography like this. Let's take our photo here. Let's go ahead and look at it and see. It's a pretty big file, so sometimes it takes a while. There we go. So the detail sometimes takes a minute to load. Okay, good. So this looks really good, but a couple of things that I wanna fix first is I wanna transform the photo a little bit because it looks a little fat, to be honest. Like, it looks wide and it doesn't look perfectly squared up to me. Like, I'm not looking at it straight on. So the first thing I wanna do is transform. So let's click auto. Auto does a really, really good job 95% of the time. In this case, it did not. It squared it up, but we do need to make a few little tweaks. The first thing we wanna do is we wanna square it up a little bit more. Like, it looks like the left side is closer than the right side, so we need to shift that over. So we're gonna go to the horizontal and we're gonna tilt it just a smidge until it looks good. So, I mean, it's not bad. I think that is really good right there. The next thing is I wanna make it look taller. So I want to bring the top of the image closer to me and the bottom of the image farther of me. So let's do the vertical and let's do that a little. And that kind of gives you more of a stretched look, makes it a little bit more towering when you're looking at the image as a whole. That looks pretty good to me. So let's go ahead and crop it. I'm gonna do a 16:9 crop. It's long and thin. I always feel that looks really good on waterfalls. So we're just gonna go ahead and crop that in. I actually might end up doing, on this photo specifically, a 1:3 crop, which is super thin. So let's just show you what that looks like. This would look really, really good, especially like in a hallway, like one of those long hallways or one of those uncommon walls that people have randomly in their house that you just don't know what to put in them. This size looks really good. Will I do this size? I'm not 100% sure. Just for sizing and looks purposes, we're gonna go ahead and stick with the 16:9 so you can follow along a little bit more easily. Okay, the first thing you'll notice that a lot of the highlights, a lot of the edits are done. This is because I had it on auto setting. But a lot of times I like to scroll through and see if there's any preset that I like. By the way, these dark and delicious presets can be yours for absolutely free. All you have to do is email me. There's a link in the description with my email. There might be a link that'll automatically send them to you, but I'm not sure which one's updated yet. But go ahead and email me and say, hey, Will, send me those dark and delicious presets, and I'll email them directly to you. And I will include the DNG files so you can get them on your Lightroom mobile. So this one here, I really like the Dark and Delicious 3. It kind of gives it that fall look, but a couple of tweaks. One, it darkened it down. I want this to be bright and I want this to be very, very natural colors. So the first thing, let's go ahead and raise the exposure just to see what we're working with. We're gonna drop the highlights. We're gonna raise the shadows. There we go, that's looking better. And then we're gonna set our whites and blacks. So press and hold Option, click the slider until we see whites. That's too much. Press and hold the blacks till we see blacks. That looks pretty good. Now that before, after, already looking really good, but again, still some oddities in this image. All right, let's go down to the HSL. We're gonna get rid of the blue color in the water. This is kind of a tricky situation. When you are editing your photos, a lot of times when you add blue or too much edit to something, your water, being primarily blue or has a lot of blues in it, will become too blue. Water generally on a waterfall is whitish. It's not, I wouldn't say orange, but like if you think of a white balance scale, it's kind of on the bluish side. So when you add blues, you get more blues and you gotta balance that out to make it back to white. So this looks a lot better than before. You see really blue, and then that's back to white. Also, these rocks are not blue, so definitely gotta get that blue out of there. So that looks a lot better right there. Now I edit very strangely. I am all over the place. There is not really a flow that I do. I kind of tweak and play and do all of these adjustments as I feel it fits. And sometimes I'm all over the place.
Hey guys, so once again, I have made a video that has gone over 30 minutes. Go figure. I didn't expect this edit to actually go that long, but I am going through a step-by-step process on everything that I do. So this was part one. I'm gonna split the video here and make a part two. It will be out on Thursday. If it's already out, then it's gonna be linked right here. So like this video if you thought it was good, go ahead and comment. If you have any questions on the editing process, and subscribe if you haven't already. I do videos like this every Monday at 7 p.m. Otherwise, I'll see you guys on Thursday or Monday or next time. Thanks guys.